Hello. I teach in a school in Canterbury, Kent, and my school is pretty normal size, about 1,000 students. It's got boys up to age 16, and it's got girls and boys 16 to 18 in their final 2 years before university. But what I want to tell you about is an approach we have to science education, and I just hope that by the end of this, we can get all of you to sign up and be involved, because I hope you'll agree in the end that it's perhaps a good way forward for our future. Why don't we teach science by putting students alongside scientists doing authentic research? Why don't we allow students at school to have this amazing journey of discovery that all of you lot who are amazing physicists working here at CERN have every day of your lives? Why do we not let them experience that and get that gorgeous feeling of what science would be like? And so what has happened at our school is we've tried to employ this model across the sciences. And what we've tried to do is blur the divide between school and university. So let me tell you how this started. And the first sort of chance we had to try and see if this model would work is we got access to the Fox telescopes. Now, they are an amazing facility for schools, and they allow schools to remote in robotically to one 2-metre telescope in Hawaii and one 2-metre telescope in Australia. And often in schools, teachers take some beautiful pictures and do some stuff, but it's very much all about the teachers delivering stuff to the students. We sort of said, well, why don't we actually give our students the access to this, mostly we're using Fox North-M, and see what they make of it. Is there a chance that we can let them run and explore science in the way that we wouldn't necessarily do? And so we gave the students access to the telescope. What happened is they worked out their own research path, and very shortly, after a few weeks, they decided they were going to look at near-Earth objects, so objects which go between the moon and the Earth. And this student here on the slide, he was very instrumental in the team, which quickly developed, and they confirmed the existence of 6 straight away, and then this guy actually discovered 2 new near-Earth objects, which is quite cool when you're in the sixth form, age 16. So he already had some, sort of qualities he could put on his UCAS form, and now he's actually doing a PhD on the moon. Well, not actually on the moon, but at Oxford on the moon. And so it's carried on this passion that he started off in the sixth form. Now, next we had this amazing opportunity. Professor Steve Rose at Imperial College, he got into the idea. He said, well, I'll set your students some problems which are genuine problems in physics, in plasma physics, and see how they roll with it. And you think, well, they can't be doing that, really, but actually, why not? They're bright young things, they've got imagination. So we went up to Imperial, we had a fantastic seminar of loads of different issues and ideas which the young people had to get the hang of and get their heads around, and lots of people were excited, but in the end, one amazing student followed this on and carried working with Steve, and he published, as you do in the sixth form, a paper in high energy density physics, made a fundamental contribution to physics research, and actually he became the first UK Young Scientist of the Year. So, kids can run with this amazing opportunities, just give them. So it made us rethink what we're going to do about teaching science, because, the general sort of idea, and I'm afraid with league tables and things, you often get it very much focused on in schools at the moment, that young people are empty vessels and you just have to fill them with a whole load of facts and they'll recite them all at exams. We thought this is just not good enough. We're doing our kids this disservice here. They're capable of doing much more than that. And so we thought, why can't we try and apply this philosophy, this approach, this vision, perhaps we call it, across the whole of the sciences? And that's how our amazing connection with CERN comes in. We come to CERN twice a year with 50 students each time and a big coach load down from Kent, and they love it, as you can imagine. It's the best trip of their whole school career, and we go around and see everybody, and it's brilliant. And one year, 7, so 6 years ago, we were lucky enough to go to the laboratories of Michael Campbell, who runs the MEDPIX collaboration. Now, the MEDPIX chip is a very small, very sensitive silicon or hybrid silicon pixel detector, and we got to find out a bit about that, and that was brilliant for the students, something a bit more small scale than the huge, hadron collider. We came back from this trip, and we were sitting in my lab, actually, and the students saying, what are we going to do next? And there was this experiment competition which said, put an experiment in space, see if you can do this. And it was, we'd pay for an experiment to go up in space. And the students said, cool, that looks exciting. But the thing was, you must be careful of the cosmic radiation because, you don't want an experiment which is going to go up and get knocked out by all the cosmic rays. And I'll never forget this moment. We're sitting there and the kids are saying, cool, we could do that. And one student said, well, why don't we try and use those chips we've just seen at CERN? I said, oh, that's brilliant. Well, I'll ask, Sure, that's been done. But of course, it hadn't actually been done. And so that started an amazing journey of discovery for our students because there they were, working with CERN scientists. Well, there was loads of them at first, but I'm afraid in the end it had to whittle down to 6 students just because they had to fit in my car to go around visiting loads of people. And David Cook, who's a satellite engineer, helped us, and loads of people helped us. And in the end, I don't mean to sound a bit arrogant, but we wanted to win so much. And the reason was, by then, we'd worked with Grid PP and thought, wouldn't it be amazing if we could get the data from this satellite to go out to all schools? I mean, it's great for my students to have a satellite going up. That's pretty cool. But actually, how about trying to get this benefit out to lots more young people and lots more schools? And so potentially, if we could, when we do this, it could go out to the UK, but of course, the world. So we had high ambitions. And it was just so... We got to the International Astronautical Congress, and it was gutting, actually, because we didn't win, and everybody was in tears, and complete disaster. And we didn't win because it was just too expensive, because MEDPIX chips hadn't yet been space qualified. So they said, however, if you could raise some more money, we'll let you go. We'll let you be a winner anyway. Right, so we did. And here we are now. This September, Lucid, the Langton Ultimate Cosmic Ray Intensity Detector, which uses 5 MEDPIX chips on the open sides of a cube, so gets cosmic rays coming in all directions and everything, and has not been. It's actually NASA beat us and have got one up on the International Space Station, but it hasn't yet been in open space. This detector, Lucid, will fly on an ESA mission from Baikonur in Kazakhstan on a Soyuz rocket. And how exciting will that be? It's pretty amazing. And what is happening at our school now, of course, is constant preparation to get ready the protocols and making sure the data's valid. And, it will be, I know it sounds a bit mad, but it will be a new UK space facility. And, NASA wants the data. Yeah, I know, just from our school in Kent. And the space weather community wants the data, but primarily the students are going to get first dibs at this data, and they're going to see we don't know, we've got a bit of a clue, and we've done some simulations, obviously, but we haven't seen data like this. It will be brand new, it will be amazing. So that's what we're playing towards, and you can imagine that, that thing going on, Lucid going up in space, will be something which encourages more people. And we've seen a huge increase. And it's not just Lucid, it's the other projects, it's the astronomy projects in physics. So now I have, out of my sixth form, 230 people doing A-level physics sixth form study before they go to university. And that's pretty high for the UK. This whole sort of enthusiasm has rolled out to the whole sort of science department in the school, and 65% of our students carry on in science, technology, engineering, maths and medicine. So it is having an impact in terms of creating the next scientists. 1 in 200 students in the UK at UK universities are from my school, and we want to create even more and more engineers and get them to carry on now they know what doing science is like. Now, before I just say something about other subjects, because you think, she's a bit obsessed with physics. Well, I am a physicist, I do love it. Let me just tell you a little bit about how our link with CERN is even stronger. You know, the amazing thing about the Misfits Chip is the readout from it does a different thing in terms of giving you an idea about understanding radiation. Yeah, I'm sure you all remember in your physics class the dulcet click, click of a Geiger counter, yeah? And how clear was that in improving your understanding of radiation? I'm sure it gave you great insight. Okay, it may have just, given you the idea about different intensities of radiation, but the Misfits Chip, actually, you can see an alpha particle with a wallop of energy hit the chip. You can see a wiggly line of a beta particle. And so your potential for actually getting kids to understand it is really great. And so we said, wouldn't it be brilliant if we could put these chips into schools and actually have a bit of up-to-date equipment? I tell you, compared to most of the equipment in my lab, it is much more up-to-date. And actually to say to students, we've got a bit of CERN in the classroom. And they go, oh, amazing. So what we did is we've managed to get some funding, and the CERN at School project, so what we call the Misfits Chip in a whole arrangement with a laptop and everything, is now become the CERN at School project, and we got funding to roll it out across the UK. And one of the things we want to do with that is get all the data which students take back using Grid PP, as well as the Lucid data, so that it's all accessible for other students to use. And my students have, give them a chance to do something interesting. They said, well, what could we do with this? Why don't we map radiation across the southeast? And so they set up this project called Radiation Around You, which is, it's not been trivial at all. They've had to take huge amounts of data and decide what protocols other schools could use to get some really sensible results which would be comparable and able to be put on a map of radiation. And once we, of course, roll the project out, then we want other schools to take part in a big national collaboration of school students. Now, you may think, oh, yeah, it's great for physics, but it's also fantastic in terms of team building and leadership and coding and all those skills which are going to be vital for these young people. So I did promise I'd say something other than all about physics, because this is not just, everything you could do with physics to inspire young people. It can inspire people across the whole sciences. And we've got this amazing project called Myelin Basic Protein Project. So this is a bioscience project, and it really arose out of a passion of the lead teacher, for sad reasons, lots of ways, in that, or very personal reasons, in that his wife has MS, and he wanted to see if he could devise a big biomedical research project which would get teams of young people working on a new area of research where they could actually contribute to MS research. And what they have done is they've got access to the license to manipulate the human genome, and they're looking at myelin basic protein in yeast, seeing how it phosphorylates to see if they've got a better understanding of how the whole process of MS works. And that has had, as you can see, it's got hundreds of students working on it. It's been phenomenally successful in that they're just about to publish, and that will be with all the students who've worked on the project over the last 3 years. The Wellcome Trust has supported that brilliantly, and they saw the potential of this approach to get young people doing real science, that they actually have funded us to roll this project out in what we call authentic biology to 4 other school-university collaborations, and each university collaboration has done their own sort of thing. East London, with Queen Mary, a school there, has decided that diabetes is the key issue in their area, which really resonates with their community. And so they've developed a whole research project in that. And in December, they gave their first authentic biology research symposium, and all the students stood up like this and gave phenomenal presentations. So, if you give students the opportunity, they will just flourish. We also thought there was a huge need for more people in plant science, with 5% of scientists working on issues of global food security. And so we worked with the John Innes Centre to actually map the reduced height gene in wheat. And we, the parents actually support us in getting a greenhouse, and we have a whole project called Genetic Research on Wheat Grow. We're good at these acronyms now. And that is a project which is also flourishing in our school and encouraging many more people to think of plant science. So a fairly standard state school, we have, people contributing to biomedical research. We have papers published. We have a satellite going, well, not the whole satellite. We have an experiment going up on a satellite this autumn. So what are the ingredients for other schools to do this? We're nothing that special. It can be easily rolled out if just there's the will and the belief. So what are the ingredients? First, I reckon, you need a visionary senior management staff in the school who can support you in this. And if they think that's what's important, which they have at my school and been fantastic, that's really crucial. Next, the teachers need a bit of time, actually, but what better way to spend their continuing professional development? Because actually, it brings them up to date with stuff, When I trained, it was quite a long time ago, and there wasn't all this stuff going on, and it is fantastic to keep teachers up to date and loving their subject as it's progressing now. The next thing, you need the support of the scientific community, but never underestimate the support we have had has been incredible. And I think the support of scientists and engineers, I think it's been because they can see there's a need to generate the next set of scientists of the future. And they've been fantastic. And it's lots of the people who've worked with us have loved it because, they get to work with all these bright young students who are keen and raring to go. And then the next thing, the last thing, is really it's like a different sort of role of the teacher. No longer is the teacher the arbiter of all sort of knowledge and standing up and pontificating. I'm walking side by side with my students, and I'm joining them in this amazing journey of discovery. We are trying to make Lucid and CERN at School accessible so that schools can join us easily in doing this with their students, but hopefully many other schools will embrace this vision. I think it is because it will work to help people love science. We need young people to be the innovative and creative thinkers of the future. Really, we need them for our economy and to solve global problems, but we also need them to love science because it's brilliant, and I can't bear it if people say, it's boring. It's not, it's wonderful, and we must give them the chance to be part of it, to feel part of it, to contribute, to make their own paths and actually contribute, because in the end, these students, these young people are going to change the world, and my students are going to change the world. Thank you.